Hello, dolphin families. Welcome to another edition of Bedtime Stories with Mrs. Moudry. Our story this week was specially selected because this time of year usually brings about a bunch of different celebrations and activities. And I know at school this week there will be different activities happening in the classrooms, but also during your winter break, you may have different activities planned as well, where there might be celebrations and lots of people. And our story this week talks about how there are different types of people and how they react to different situations. And the words that they use in the story are introverts and extroverts, which is how this book got the name The Verts. Let's take a look. The Verts, written by Anne Pachet. And this is a story about introverts and extroverts. And introverts are people who sometimes like to be by themselves and not be around all the noise. But extroverts really like being around other people and it being busy and there being lots of sounds and busy things going on. This is the Vert family, Mr. Vert and Mrs. Vert, and their two children, Esty and Ivan. Today is Ivan's birthday. Grandmother Vert insists there should be a birthday picture, but Ivan won't come out from behind the sofa. He doesn't like to have his picture taken. Ivan, his mother says, please stick out your foot. Ivan sticks out his foot, which is how you know he's in the picture. Look at your sister, Grandmother Vert says, scolding Ivan's foot. Look at her sitting so nicely in the middle of the picture. Don't you think Ivan should be more like Esty? Ivan is Ivan, and Esty is Esty, says Mr. Vert, which is just the way we like it. Grandmother Vert takes the picture. Not much of a birthday party, if you ask me. The word party gives Esty the most wonderful idea. I'll be right back. No party, Ivan says from behind the sofa. But it's too late. Esty is out the door and down the hall. 5 minutes later, she comes back with the Blanche family, with their three children and 2 rabbits, the Bruns, who have a baby, a parakeet, and a chihuahua named Moose, and the Blue sisters, who live together, just the 2 of them. Esty decrees that everyone must stay for dinner. It's Ivan's birthday. She puts on music to encourage dancing. I don't think Ivan wants a party, Mrs. Vert whispers to her daughter. Of course he does, says Esty. Grandmother Vert is aghast. Ivan would never invite so many people to dinner. Why isn't Esty more like Ivan? Esty is Esty, and Ivan is Ivan, sighs Mr. Vert, which is usually the way we like it. There's a lot of people there at the party. Esty tops her brother with a paper crown and pulls him to the head of the table. She passes out paper hats to all the guests and throws handfuls of tinfoil stars in the air. After dinner, Grandmother Vert lights the candles on the cake while Esty leads the singing. And looking at the picture, I think the illustrator gave us some clues to let us know that it's very loud in this setting right now. We've got a baby crying here. We've got the dad, it looks like he's playing the accordion. There's a parrot over here. I wonder if it's making noise. And then it looks like his sister's singing loudly for his birthday. Ivan slips off his chair and goes to the kitchen. In all the excitement, no one seems to notice that he's missing. He imagines finding a pot so enormous that he'd be able to fit himself inside. He'll pull the lid over his head. No one will be able to find him. Where's Ivan? The people at the birthday party will wonder. Mrs. Vert comes into the kitchen carrying a stack of plates. Happy birthday, Ivan, she says. Thank you, Mama, he says. They stand side by side, Mrs. Vert washing a plate and Ivan drying. It's very nice. Even though he's washing dishes on his birthday, why do you think he might enjoy this rather than the party happening in the dining room? Without Ivan, Esty has to lick the icing off the candles. Esty has to serve the cake. Esty has to do everything. She shows the Blanche children how to make a birthday fort out of blankets and chairs. Since the little Brun is just a baby, she invites Moose the Chihuahua to come over into the fort instead. They all cram inside. The laughing and barking can be heard on every floor of the apartment building. Soon the Rouges arrive, followed by Alsace, the Afghan hound, which belongs to Mr. Noir and Mrs. Juan, followed by Mr. Noir and Mr. Juan. Everyone is welcome to join the party. Ivan finds a leftover blanket and drops it on his head. He looks like a ghost that his mother crocheted. He takes his book and flashlight back to his place behind the sofa. Being in a blanket fort is more fun than he thought it would be, until Esty finds him. "Why aren't you playing with us?" she asks. "I'm reading," Ivan says. "But it's your birthday." What did he want? More balloons? More rabbits? Couldn't he tell how hard she was trying? "Everybody wants a party," Esty yells. Ivan says something, but Esty can't hear him. She lifts the Afghan and crawls under. "What?" "Not me," he says in his smallest voice. "You want to be under an Afghan? By yourself?" "Well," he says, "you're here." Esty sits there under the Afghan, trying to understand. "I just wanted you to have a nice birthday." "It is nice," said Ivan. Esty blinks. A party with just the two of them? She thinks about it, and then she starts to sing. "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Ivan." "Thank you," Ivan says, smiling. Suddenly, Esty can see that he really is happy, which makes her happy, even though she'll never understand how a person wouldn't want a party. "You know, it's not so bad in here," she says. Ivan knows her heart is in the right place, even if she never listens to him. "You're the very best, Esty." "And you're the very best, Ivan." Esty leaves Ivan alone to finish his book. Her guests are waiting back at the birthday fort. After all, Esty is Esty, and Ivan is Ivan, which is just the way they like it. And that, Dolphin Families, is The Verts. Now, I picked this book because I thought it was a good follow-up to last week's book of They All Saw a Cat, because that book was about perspective, and we looked at how the cat appears to different characters in last book, and in this book, we looked at the perspective of the brother and the sister and how they feel about parties and gatherings. The sister enjoys them when they're loud and lots of people, but the brother prefers a smaller party and a little quieter one. And you may feel like the brother or sister in this book, or you could feel a bit of both. There are times when I enjoy being at a larger event and celebrating with a lot of people, but then there are times where I just want to be at home with my family and celebrate just as a smaller group. So there's no right or wrong way to feel. It's all about your perspective. So thanks for joining me, Dolphin Families, and we'll see you next week for another bedtime story.